Okay, so I didn't come last month, so I guess I don't know exactly. Well, this is what I'm gonna do, okay?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what my influence was, which is the Mountain Goats. Have you guys heard of the Mountain Goats?
Yeah.
It's like the best band in the universe. It's mainly one dude. His name's John. And I first... Can you hear me? You can hear me without this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I first heard of the Mountain Goats in 2004. My little brother, who introduced me to most cool things like Coldplay. He bought all the CDs when we were kids. I never did. He introduced me to them, and it was right before, I remember very specifically the first time I heard one of their songs. We were in Texas. I've only been to Texas once. It was for a cousin's wedding that happened in like a Hyatt in like a conference room. It was so weird, but Mikey played them for me, and then I went abroad to Scotland, which was like one of the most stupid, drunk college abroad trips of all time. I was drunk the whole time and it was raining the whole time. And the Mountain Goats were the perfect music for that. So I really connected with them at that point. And I had just gotten my first iPod, whatever we called them. I don't even know. So I was like pretty much all Mountain Goats. My brother had just like loaded it all on there. So that's all I listened to when I was in Scotland. And then I came back to Oregon, graduated from college, started dating a drunk, alcoholic, semi-abusive person. So then the Mountain Goats really spoke to me because the music's pretty much all about abusive relationships. Anyways, yeah. Woo, 23, so fun to be 23. Anyways, after that, I am no longer that ridiculous person who needs to listen to music to rationalize my own existence, even though there is one song that I am not going to play. It's called No Children, which is pretty much just about, it's like, the chorus is, I hope you die, I hope we both die. I hope I cut myself self-shaving tomorrow, I hope it bleeds all day long. Our friends say it's darkest before the sun rises, we're pretty sure they're all wrong. That's the tone.
Baby steps.
That's
my favorite song.
Yeah, it's an amazing song. If you ever go see the Mountain Goats play, and they play that song, if you're lucky enough to hear them play that song, it will just be a crazy time. I saw them, I've seen them perform a bazillion times, as you do with people you're obsessed with that are like your Jesus. And one time was a daytime show at the bottom of the hill, and there were children there just screaming along. Yeah, so if you have kids, get them into the Mountain Goats early. Maybe they can get past that phase when they're like 13. That's probably worse for their brain chemistry. Anyway, but it's not just, I mean, his music really speaks to me on that like specific personal level, but what I love about John Darnell's songwriting is that he creates these situations that put the feeling into you. So he doesn't talk about like lots of feelings, but he creates the feeling in the listener. So now, as a mature 30-year-old, no longer involved in such, that's not true, but I can still appreciate him in this new world of not being 23, not being an alcoholic or whatever. I mean, I don't know what it is, I don't know. So, I'm terrible at the guitar. This is a disclaimer. I don't actually like play the guitar. I've had this specific guitar since I was 19. I got it for my birthday. I think my parents believed me when I said I would take guitar lessons in college. And I think I did for like a couple weeks. And I'm bad at practicing things. I also play the tuba, the trombone, the piano, the harmonica, the baritone. I was first chair baritone in high school just because nobody else was baritone. Like I'm bad at practicing. I'm bad at music, but he's a musician, and I'm gonna play you this song.
All right.
Woo! And it's called Love, Love, Love. So if I start crying in the middle of it, just pretend like that's a part, and I'm not freaking out. Can you? Maybe I should. Can you hear it? Saul fell on his sword when it all went wrong. And Joseph's brother sold him down the river for a song. And Sonny Liston rubbed some tiger balm into his glove. Some things you do for money, and some you do for love, love, love. Raskolnikov felt sick, but he couldn't say why. When he saw his face reflected in his victim's twinkling eyes. Some things you'll do for money, and some you'll do for fun. But the things you do for love are gonna come back to you one by one. Love, love is gonna lead you by the hand into a wide and soundless place. Now we see things as in a mirror dimly. Now we shall see each other face to face. And way out in Seattle, young Kurt Cobain snuck out to the greenhouse, put a bullet in his brain. Snakes in the grass beneath our feet, rain in the clouds above. Some moments last forever, but some flare out with love, love, love. So you should probably hear him play it because it's fucking bomb. He's really good at music. And now I'll read my story, which is called, oh, I forgot. It was originally called Love, Love, Love. And now I have a different title on it, but I'm going to go back to Love, Love, Love now. It's a newish story, but
Nice segue.
some people have heard it, and everything I write is pretty much influenced by the mountain goats, I have to say. So I could pretty much read you anything, and it would be like, this is influenced by the mountain goats. Because like I said, it's like Jesus. Yeah, thank you. I want to have a drink first. That was stressful. Love, love, love. When I woke up in the morning after having unprotected sex with a kind of friend who I have a long history of unprotected sex with, after saying to him, this is way less embarrassing for me than that was, so just don't worry about it. When I woke up in the morning after having unprotected sex with a kind of friend who I have a long history of unprotected sex with, after saying to him, that's how people get pregnant. If I get pregnant and Mitt Romney gets elected, I'm naming this baby Mitt and calling him Mittens. I looked at my iPhone app to see if I was in my fertile window. It said I wasn't, and I didn't care enough to do any further math on the subject. Also, I was hungover. I went back to sleep. Inside of me, science was happening. Sorry. 2.5 weeks later, I put on my headphones and walked up to Bernal Hill, and at the top I texted the boy and said, we need to talk. He called me when he could plausibly get away from his girlfriend, and I said, well, I'm pregnant. I'm not surprised, he said, karmic retribution. I really think I need to work on my relationship with my girlfriend, he said. The next day his girlfriend emailed me. Subject line, you're pathetic. Body, he will never want to be with you, so stop trying. The email had her website as a sign-off. It might have been the hormones, but the whole thing seemed distant and funny and sad somehow, but sad like a memory I barely remember, not acutely sad. I tried to feel more feelings about it. Anger, disappointment, something. Instead, I just felt calm. A few nights later, we met up in person in my living room, and when I said I wasn't sure what I would do, he said, you could have the baby. Best case scenario, it would absolutely destroy my relationship, like completely burn it to the ground. And then we would get together, and it would be hard, but I could do it. Ultimately, it's up to you. I told my friends and my not friends about it. I told my boss and my brother, but I didn't tell my grandmas. I went north to Washington for Thanksgiving, where it was cold and gray. I looked on WebMD, followed my fetus's progress. I got morning sickness, ate a lot of cheeseburgers, felt overwhelmingly serene, and gave everyone advice on everything. A lot of moments I thought, I could have a baby. Kate Middleton announced she was pregnant, and people I knew posted sonograms on Facebook. I thought about how fun it would be to post one of those, to get all that positive feedback, and how people would look at it and say, here's a girl who can get laid. Here's a girl whose body is in full working order. I thought of all the girls I know and how jealous they would be. I could have a baby, I told my mom on the phone. My baby would have so much more than most of the babies born in the world. Plus which I'm 30, so it's not like it's a teen pregnancy or something. She cried. The weekend after Thanksgiving, when I was officially about 10 weeks pregnant, I went on a bike ride to the top of a hill with the boy whose genetic material was taking hold in my uterus. We rode together over the Golden Gate Bridge and it started to rain. When I got tired part of the way up the Marin Headlands, he rode up behind me and started pushing me up the hill. He was so strong and it was raining so hard, I felt like I was back in Oregon where we'd met, and I thought about how nice it would be if I could just be in love with him. What an athletic baby the little group of cells in my body would turn into. How if I loved him, he would love me, and this little alien creature would turn into a human that absolved us both of the treacherous things we'd done to each other and to the people we loved. My legs were covered in mud, and my bike gloves felt like wet diapers, and I could imagine a little baby being born, and everyone loving it, and everyone knowing that I had slept with this guy, and the story we told everyone would be about our complicated beginning, but the baby would make it okay. My dad is a grandpa, my brother an uncle, my mom the perfect grandma. We turned downhill and the rain didn't let up, and when we went through the tunnel, I let him get ahead of me. I thought about the things I did really like about him. He's cute. He rides a bike. He agrees with me on everything except for the one time I was for Hillary and he was for Barack. He once said, I was wrong. He once said he thought I was intimidatingly smart. He's fun to have sex with. But those are just things, really, and a person is more than muscles and politics and sex and compliments. A dad is, anyway. When we rode back over the bridge, it was getting dark and I didn't have any lights. I said, "This is getting dangerous." And he looked at me seriously, dramatically, and said, "You have no idea." Then I realized that the problem wasn't his girlfriend or our history. The problem wasn't that he was unavailable to me. The problem was that I didn't think that what we were doing was dangerous. Not emotionally, not physically, not to my existence. Even pregnant with his hypothetical child, I was completely removed from him. He was putting what felt like his whole life on the line for one bike ride, a few hours of time with me, and I'd never risked anything for him. Not once. He looked so serious, skidding on the bridge through the dark, pounding rain, and for a second, I knew he really would do it. Throw away everything with that other girl, and his plans for law school, and the respect of his family and his friends, if I had once, even ever said, "I love you, be with me." The rain dripped down my face, and below us the San Francisco Bay boiled, and I remembered being in love. I remembered screaming, crying, when the person I loved was leaving me. "You're killing me from your life by leaving," I yelled. "Why are you killing me? Why do you hate me so much to kill me from your life?" When you love someone and they leave you, you scream. You barricade the door. You cut off your hair and you stop eating. You smoke all the cigarettes. The boy on the Golden Gate Bridge had left me various times. Always I had just sort of felt relieved. We rode to my house in the dark through the city. I took off my gloves and put them in the pouch of my shirt. He kissed me at the gate to my building, which he'd done before, and I didn't feel anything except interest, and maybe that specific joy of knowing someone cares about you. But he looked like it was killing him to kiss me. He looked like he was going to cry or scream. In the shower, the water ran through my hair, and I could taste the rain and the grit in my mouth. I thought about how his girlfriend was willing to move in with him after reading emails he wrote to me asking me not to give up on him, to wait for him a little longer. How she was willing to forgive him again, and the crazy, overwhelming emotion it must take to send someone an email with the subject line, "You're pathetic." I stood there and let the water get hot and steam fill up the bathroom. I thought about him showing up at my house drunk, twice, late at night on weeknights, wanting to explain something to me that I never let him get out, knocking on my door, riding to my house, following only me on Twitter, playing Words with Friends, but only with me. I thought about how it cost me nothing to stop talking to him the last time, or the first time, back when I was 25. I thought about the doors I'd stood outside of that weren't his, the scenes I have made, never about him, the angry, stupid, crazy emails I've sent to other people, the times I've called same person, not him, 20 times in an hour. I turned off the water and wrapped a towel around my hair. How do you tell a person their dad wasn't even important enough for you to raise your voice? Naked, I got into bed and stared at the ceiling. I put my hands on my stomach and it felt the same as always, but I knew somewhere inside of it was a little thing that for the first time ever wasn't a part of my body. If I didn't do anything, the little thing would get bigger and bigger, and then I would get fat and it would kick me, and then it would come out of my body as a baby. I'm good with babies. They're all sweet to me, they all seem sweet to me, even the criers, and I knew I would be a good mom. I've held so many babies, played peekaboo with so many toddlers, teased so many little kids about their age, taught them how to swim, how to canoe, how to read, how to build a fire. But in bed, staring at the ceiling, it was the adult that came after that I thought about. A lucky human is an adult much longer than they're a fat baby, a cute kid, or an angry teenager. Could I do better for the future world than an adult who hates his father? A default adult? A mistake adult? A tall, athletic adult whose dad I couldn't even fight for a little bit? Whose dad I always secretly was glad to see go back to his girlfriend? Who only existed because the Giants won the World Series and I'm weak when it comes to compliments and direct eye contact? And I'm more scared of a bladder infection when I'm drunk than I am of AIDS or pregnancy, and I say irresponsible things when I want the sex to be over, and I'm too lazy to take the morning after pill and too cheap to pay for an effective menstrual calendar app because the person whose window I would stand outside of, whose other women who I would send emails, subject line you're pathetic to, whose house I would drive to drunk in the middle of the night, I'm not that person to him. When I was 18, I dated a Catholic boy who told me that every life was sacred and that abortion was murdering that sacred potential. When I told my mom I would never get an abortion then, because of that, no matter what, she looked at me and said, "You have no idea what you're talking about." A little over a week later, I was up in the stirrups at my doctor's office. I'd taken a Xanax, and then the doctor injected me with some narcotic. The room was warm and 2 nurses stood next to me, and as the doctor scraped out the multiplying cells, I told the nurses about the tattoos on my thighs, one of an eagle, one of a shark. There are people you love so much you get tattoos so you'll never forget how much you love them. There are people you scream for, who cut out your heart with a spoon. And there are hypothetical people who exist in certain cells of your body, and you're a mother to all those people, and you love them in a deep and theoretical way. These are people beyond screaming, beyond tattoos. Each of these people is yours, part of your body but separate, and it's your choice to bring them into the world or let them stay imaginary, senseless, brainless, lifeless, soulless. You can let them live, but if you do, part of your body will exist outside of you forever. It will be walking around. It might hurt you. It might hurt itself. It might get killed by a car or grow up to be an asshole. Whatever happens, it will be your responsibility. Are you ready for that responsibility? The boy was waiting in the waiting room. He looked so sad, but I felt weightless. He drove me home in his girlfriend's car and sat with me for a minute, but I was glad when he left because I couldn't think of anything to say to him. I ordered cheeseburger delivery over the internet and then fell asleep. There are things I regret. Telling secrets mainly, smoking a cigarette for the first time, my credit cards. But I don't regret fighting for things I love. I don't regret cutting off my hair and screaming when it matters. When I woke up, I was surprised at how sad I didn't feel. When you love someone, you barricade the door so they don't leave. When you love someone, you'll sacrifice everything for them, even if that means they never exist at all. Thank you.